Sarah Reichstein just said she's having technical difficulties. Sarah, can you hear us at all? Text me or give me a chat or something. You should just text me. Oh, there you are, Sarah. I see you now.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Sarah? Give us a thumbs up. Must be a no. Hello, hello, Sarah Reichstein. Can you hear us? Okay, good. That was awesome. Okay, so good. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Guys, I love, by the way, seeing all these rock star faces together on one screen. I think it's so fun. Well, this is going to be total brainstorming session. So you're in charge. Mute yourself, unmute yourself, whatever you want to do, talk, whatever you want to do. But here's who was invited to this call. I want everybody to know why you particularly were selected for this call. There was some criteria of forming this leadership group that we're doing. And to be honest with you, there's going to be 2 different calls. So this is kind of my team, and then there's going to be some outside team, another call, and we're going to talk about the same things. And I think actually this is going to work really well because there's going to be less people and we can have some discussion. Probably, and that'll be great. But you guys were selected because you're hyper enrollers, period. You guys are all hyper enrollers. And what that means is you've enrolled 10 or more distributors, or you have enrolled a total of 30 or more between customers and distributors. So literally everyone on this call knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? Is literally has the mindset of a leader is what we think. And the reason that we're thinking that we want to pull this kind of group together is, would you all agree? Like, give me, I can see everybody's faces, but Chris, if you want to turn your camera on, Chris, that would be lovely. So you're the only one I can't see your face. So there you are, pretty lady. So give me like a thumbs up or raise your hand if you feel like at some point from starting your business, you felt like your business was in momentum. Awesome. Okay, I thought you would all say that. Okay, raise your hand. I want you to be totally honest. Raise your hand if you feel like your business is currently in momentum. Yep, Tara Miller, I would agree, is probably the only one that would raise their hand right now. Yep. So I think that's pretty clear that our thought is let's all pull together because we know what we're doing. With this leadership group is so dynamic and everybody brings different strengths to the table. The Garners, so Amber's here representing the Garner group, Bridget's here representing the Nori group, and I'm here representing the Mucklow group. But we've been talking about this for weeks. And we've been discussing a few different things that we think that can help get all of our teams in massive momentum. And that's what we want to discuss with you. So this is what I would write down. We think that our team has lacked a little bit of sense of urgency. We lack a little bit of urgency right now for whatever reason, but we need to figure out how to get that back. Does everybody agree with that? Everybody raise your hand if you agree. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. We also think that as a leadership group, that we need to get better at recognition. Because whether people say they like recognition or not, everyone likes it. And I think that when we all of our teams were in momentum, we talked about this the other night, that, you know, I don't think it was because we were doing live meetings. I don't think that's the reason, but I also think that people were seeing people have success because we were all getting together a lot. And so people were seeing that success, they were feeling that success, and now because of life, literally, I think life has just gotten busier for everyone, and we're utilizing technology more, so we need to do recognition in more of a public manner. Especially we have to get good at doing that if we want to grow global teams, right? And so we've got to be able to recognize people across the board and kind of have a system for that. Does everybody agree with that? Raise your hand. Okay, perfect. And what about this? I know, I just know all of your hearts, and I think that all of you are going to raise your hand for this, but I think that we need to work as one team. We all have different strengths that we bring to the table. And I think that it would be better if we, for each and every one of us, if we divide and conquer and work together as one to put everybody's team in momentum. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Is everybody willing to do that? Okay, awesome. I love it. Okay, Garners, Noris, anything, you guys have anything to add before we kind of go through some of our ideas, and then we'll talk about the ideas of how to help all those categories in our business? Anything to add so far? Good? Okay. So here's what I think I'll do is I'll run through the ideas that we have come up with behind the scenes, like as.
Okay, hold on, Shauna. I think Rich wanted to say something.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. I was muted and I forgot I was muted. So I was like,
I just hear silence.
I'm a hot mess today. Anyway.
Just a hot mess. Just a big hot mess in the neighborhood.
I thought, I don't know if we want to open up anybody been thinking about this and have some suggestions or any ideas that you want to throw at us first, because we have been talking about this, but we just want to see if you guys have any ideas out there that you'd like to share with us or thoughts, or see if we're going down are we going down the right path? I mean, do you guys agree with everything that we're saying? You know, if there's other things that might be issues too, type thing.
Not all at once.
What was that? Oh, not all at once. Is that what you said, Amber? Okay. So
I teach you like not everybody answers.
Right. Absolutely. I think that one of the things that we want to do is we don't want all the ideas to come from the Mucklows, the Noris, and the Garners anymore. We want to lead this team the best that we know how. But the other thing we want to do is we want to hear your voices. We want to hear your voices because all of you are smart, dynamic, happens to be women on this call. That's who our group and our team really, those are the strong leaders on this team. And we know that all of your voices matter, and you all have great ideas, and you all know how to do this business, or you wouldn't be in the position you are. So, and it's okay if you don't have any ideas right now. We have been brainstorming a lot, so we're happy to throw out our ideas and see if you guys like them, don't like them, and where to go. But does anybody have any ideas right now by hearing recognition, urgency, and working together?
I think maybe if we did some competitions, that seems to get people engaged quite a bit. We had a lot of success when the few competitions that I've been involved in, it seemed like we had quite a bit of success as a team.
Love it.
I agree.
Agree. We just talked about that last night. Love that. Anybody else before we throw out our ideas? Mish, thank you. Okay. So here's some ideas. We'll just throw them out there, and everybody, so Amber, Bridget, I'll just kind of run through them, and then you jump in at each topic if I forget something, okay?
Yep.
So one of our ideas is that we want to create a standard on this team, like whatever it may be. And I want to explain to you what I mean by that. We almost feel like we all know we have to lead by example, and we have been leading by example, but I believe, and all of us believe, and I think you will agree, that in order to get our teams back in momentum, it's almost going to have to take us thinking like we just started. Like all of us start at like ground zero, and we all rise to reach the same standard again and help all of our teammates hit it too, so that we truly are living right next to these people that we're asking to engage and do the business, that we're showing them, not just telling them how to do the business, but showing them that we can do it too, and so can you, kind of thing. So we're thinking about creating some kind of a standard. And as we talked last night, it just kept coming up. Enrollments has to be the standard. I mean, right? Like behaviors are behaviors, and they're so important. And we do have an idea to recognize people for behaviors, but we know that you guys all know this. You've been to enough conventions that you've heard. You know, a hyper enroller is everything. That's why we pulled this team together. A hyper enroller is everything. Well, Eric Worre's standard across the industry says that a hyper enroller is 10 enrollments, and you're a hyper enroller. 10 enrollments in the lifetime of your business. So you guys are already well past that. And so we're thinking that that's our standard. That's the standard that everybody wants to achieve, and everyone wants to be on this leaderboard and be called this particular title. And so we're thinking 10 enrollments. Doesn't have to be distributors, doesn't have to be customers. It's just a total of 10. Once you hit that 10, you get recognized massively on this team, and you're just known as somebody who does that. That's our idea. And
I'll say this. So like everybody right now that's already enrolled, not everybody on the team knows that, where you're at for sure in business. But so we were talking about, when she talks about starting at ground zero, we're saying like everybody has a chance to get to that now. Again, it's kind of like a new program, a new system. And so once you enroll 10, we're going to recognize the heck out of you, even if you've already done that. Our start date is probably going to be July 1. Throw that out there. But then everybody knew after that, it's going to be their goal, is what we're going to shoot for with all of our new distributors is, and some people are going to do it at the walk pace, some of them are going to do it at the fly pace, and some of them are going to do it at the run pace. It doesn't matter. Once they hit that 10, you're going to get recognized. So that's kind of our idea behind that and how it's going to work from here on.
Yeah, so the first question is, so I'm going to throw out a couple questions. Do you like that idea? Do you like the idea of like having a standard on the team? Because the other thing that we know based on Eric Worre's statistics about industry-wide, not just in LifeVantage, is that if somebody enrolls 10, that actually the average, once they enroll 10, they enroll 26. So that's kind of why we're picking 10 as a magic number. And then secondly, do you feel like it seems like a good idea to start all of us at ground zero? You know what I mean? Like all of us just start there and all of us have to achieve it. Every single person, no matter if they're new or old in the business. I think that's also how we put us in momentum, personally. But what do you guys all think of that idea so far?
I like the idea.
I was going to say, remember, unmute yourself.
I like the idea too. I think also just to, while we're setting the ground rules, for the consistency piece of it, we would have to decide who would be responsible for that recognition. Again, I hate to see it always fall on the same shoulders. Would it be the person who enrolled that person? Or, just so the standard is the same and we don't miss somebody doesn't fall through the cracks, and that we somehow recognize them kind of in the same manner.
I love that. Okay, so I have an idea for that, Regina. I love it.
I figured you did.
Okay, well, so my idea, we already know this. I hate to say it, but Bridget's going to have to pull the numbers. Bridget has to pull the numbers just so we make sure that nobody gets missed. You know what I mean? But there is a report that we now know that corporate can send us every single month. And it will show Bridget how many enrollments each person had. So it's going to be really simple to keep a running total, we believe, of this. My idea is the person gets recognized on a Team Hustle call. They get recognized with a live interview on our Facebook groups. You know what I mean? Like, we blow it up. Like, what have you done to reach this? You're amazing. In every facet of the word, and then we start building them into a leadership role from there. I do think that we need to give them some kind of a gift, I'll be honest with you, and it can be something like, I don't know what that gift is in my mind, but it can be like there's all kind of little rewards. We can make like little plaques for our team, you know what I mean, have their little name engraved on it. It's like they're out there for $15, you know what I mean, like you're making a difference, or whatever it's going to be, or whatever we're going to call this standard.
Let's develop some hyper enroller team shirts.
Yeah, there can be a team shirt. That's exactly right. It could be a shirt. It could be a plaque, but everybody gets it. And I think that the person in my mind, it makes sense that the person gets recognized when they hit this achievement by their closest leader in this group. Do you know what I mean? Like whoever's in this group, our tight leadership group that we're forming here, whoever's team they're on, they get to do the recognition, because it's also really, really fun to do the recognition. Like, you know what I mean? Like if Regina, let's say one of your new distributors hits this title, it's going to be so fun for you to be able to recognize them instead of me recognize them. That's one of the beauties of helping people. You know what I mean? Is recognizing them. That's one of the best things. So that's my thought behind it. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I like it.
What do we want to call this? Do we have any ideas of what do we want to call this? Bridget threw out last night, like something to do with hustle, right? Because of our team hustle call, like we're hustlers, right? Obviously it's hyper and roller. I don't know if we want to go with anything like that, but I know that we're a creative group and we can come up with some ideas of what we're going to call this, but.
Hyper moment women use girls.
Actually, when you were talking about the shirts, I'm not sure if we have any gentlemen that enrolled. They're going to be as excited about a shirt. I don't know.
True.
They might want a hat.
You could have a couple.
True.
A couple of shirts. Oh, that'd be cute.
Well, like a couple, one for male, one female. A gal that I used to, it's weird to say used to teach with because I'm not teaching anymore, but she actually does all her own shirts and hats and all kinds of stuff. Could probably get a decent deal.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the route we want to take.
Right, absolutely.
Maybe a hat would be kind of cool.
There might be some ladies that would like a hat.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
One today. Ooh.
Guys, I
I
can't
had
get
one
it out of my
earlier.
mind.
Looks hot right now.
I keep thinking I can't get do the hustle out of my mind. I don't know. That kind of dates me a
Yeah.
little bit. But I'm like in my mind, I can hear the music, the little
I
music
kind of
notes.
hear that too.
Mhm. Do the hustle.
Yep.
Do, 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 do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it does make sense to do something with hustle just because that's kind of the team call we have, and that's who we are. We're all about hustling. Like that's what our team does. I don't know what we can come up with to call this standard, but I think but are you guys in? Like if we said square one starts July 1st, everybody's going to run for 10 enrollments and we're going to promote this to our teams like crazy. Like, let's help you be called up, you know, whatever we decide. Is everybody in for that?
Yep.
Yes.
Will everybody strive for that? Because I 100% believe that's what puts us into momentum. Because I think a little bit of what puts our teams out of momentum is because all of us have grown a little bit of a team, and we've, including myself, I'm including myself in this, that we've gotten busy doing the busy work, helping our teams, and we're not all doing the thing we're really good at. Obviously, we're all already hyper enrollers, and so all of us can go out and find 10 customers or distributors, 10 more, and do it all over again to show our teams this is what we do. Because some of our new teammates, they've never seen us do that before. I mean, truly. You guys feel that way?
Yep.
Okay. So think of a team name. If you guys think of something, throw it out there. If you come up with something in the next 2 days, bring it to us because we need to come up with that name of that standard. And then I like the idea of t-shirts or hats I wrote down, or
I sleep with a guy that does promo items, t-shirts, hats.
you do sleep with a guy that has a business like that, yeah. When you first said that, I like double take. I was like, who is that?
Like, does your husband know that?
That's awesome.
So you're getting
No,
it
I
for
love
free.
you.
You're getting it for free.
Yeah. Yeah, t-shirts, hats. Joe, does he probably also does like little like plaques and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, they can get all that done.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Okay, well, we got a place.
There we go.
Okay, let's decide what's best. I don't want it to be like, I hate to say it, because we also have to think about everything we do needs to be duplicatable in our team. So the next leader that comes on board, it can't be something super expensive. It's just got to be something that we promote, that it's such a big deal that you want this. You know what I mean? You want this standard. It's not necessarily about the prize you get. It's about achieving the standard. Does that make sense? Okay. Second idea is, okay, recognition. Like how a system for recognition is what we have come up with some ideas on. We had such massive success with Dash for Cash, I'll be honest with you. Massive success, because what we did was we awarded behavior. And so we're thinking to do a Dash for Cash the first week of every single month. It would be a Dash for Cash. And we would do not as much cash, to be honest with you, because that's not duplicatable every single month to expect, and to know who's spending the money and because last time we gave away 100 and then 50, and maybe it's just 25. Again, it's not about the cash, it's about us saying and recognizing the winners of Dash for Cash because they did it and they, had the behaviors in their business. So our idea is, though, to only reward Dash for Cash for behaviors, but not necessarily enrollment. So we would give people points for sending tools, getting people to overviews, 3-way chats, and follow-ups. One solid week at the beginning of every month, reward and recognize people for their behaviors, so that hopefully by the end of the month they have enrollments. Does that make sense? The second thing we're thinking about recognizing people for is once a month, we really want to have a leaderboard or whatever of behaviors. And so we also thought that it would make sense to reward people or recognize people, not really reward, but recognize people for engagement in the Facebook groups. So the guest Facebook group and the distributor Facebook group. And we're able to poll every month, we're able to poll a top 10 contributors, like report from our Facebook. So it'd be really, really easy and simple to do. But we all know the people that are engaging are the people having most success. So let's just help them engage and recognize them for engagement. And I guarantee their engagement goes up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Adeline.
Hey, Shauna, could you repeat the behavior? I don't think I wrote that down last night. Is it 4 things, right?
Yeah, so tools, overviews, 3-ways, and follow-ups.
Yep, okay, sorry.
Obviously that lines up with our roadmap, and we want everything to be congruent, so that's why we talked about that. And then the third thing we would recognize people for, so those 2 things would be really just once a month, because Dash for Cash, we would run 1 week of every month. We would recognize the people for that. We would recognize the people for engagements in the Facebook group once a month, but then we would recognize people for enrollments weekly. So we would basically be putting out there who's our top customer enrollers and our top distributor enrollers every single week. Probably do that on the hustle call, and then as well as post on the Facebook groups is, I think, kind of what we were thinking. What do you guys think of that? And do you think we're missing something? Do you think we need to do more? You know what I mean? Something else? Like, are we missing something?
Is it enough? Is it too much? Is it, what do you guys, really?
Sorry, I missed the question. Will you say it again?
Yeah, so do you think that that's enough recognition? Do you think that people just, like, getting their name announced on the Team Hustle call and getting their name put on the Facebook group and just having congratulatory stuff coming from people, you know what I mean? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Is that enough to get people excited? And because we're a competitive team, like Misha already said about contests, right? That's also going to make people go, I want to get on that leaderboard, hopefully, right?
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. I haven't met anybody on this team yet that just absolutely needs their behind kissed. Like,
Right.
it feels good to be recognized, but nobody needs it blown over the top. Like, congratulate people where hard work is where it's due. And obviously that's going to motivate more people. So I think that's plenty.
Okay.
We had conversations about Facebook groups, like Shauna especially has been paying attention to other Facebook groups, and they were recognizing people for brand new PCs, and we thought might be a little overwhelming to put on our pages every single PC that's enrolled. It would just be too much. So that's why we kind of wanted to just recognize a certain amount and for those behaviors and stuff. So we did look at more, but we thought it was just too much. Yeah.
And so I've talked to some of the other distributors that do a lot of recognition within their teams, and their teams are growing massively right now. And they have basically said they believe what that does create when they have leaderboards and they're recognizing enrollments and behaviors and things like that, is that it's making people go, well, I want to do that. And they're cheering each other on, and they're working more as a team also. I think it's just about building a culture that people want to be a part of, and everyone wants to be recognized, because I'll be quite honest with you, life is hard and freaking jobs are hard, and you don't usually get recognized well at those. So why wouldn't we want people to feel good here? Right? Do you like the idea for Dash for Cash? So basically it would be like one person, and maybe it's like $25. Like, it's not even a lot, like a gift card or whatever, but it's more just about getting recognized on the Team Hustle call. You know what I mean? After that week finishes up, and as well as, probably like getting interviewed on the Team Hustle call, like as long as it's not the same person over and over. Hopefully it's not. Yeah, Lindsay don't win every time. The reason we thought about this, I want to bring this up because John told me a story, and this was how this kind of started happening. Is he said when he was a pharmaceutical rep, he used to sit, I think it was on a Friday, he said, and we would play, he said, I would play this recorded message every Friday, and it was like the top 10 people who did this and the top 10 people who did this, and there was like 3 different categories. And he goes, and you literally just sat there, like, of course, a competitive person that wanted to win like John sat there just waiting to hear his name. He's like, I didn't win anything per se. You know what I mean? At the end of the year, maybe I'd cash in a bonus or whatever if I stayed on that leaderboard. I just wanted to hear my name every Friday. I was like, we have a lot of people on our team that are like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, did you have something you wanted to add?
I don't remember what it was. It was more than 2 minutes ago, right?
Right. If it comes up, speak out.
Yeah, I will.
And so I think that we do have to incentivize people with contests and cash and prizes every once in a while. But I think we just have to get really good at just recognizing people for effort. And not be about, because we know that building a business is going to be a huge reward. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that people will work towards it without, you know what I mean, like a big caveat prize?
Well, I have a lot of people on my team that aren't really working real hard. So I think all of those things are worth a try, motivation,
Cattle prod.
Cattle prod. I need an IT guy on my team, really. You guys.
Yeah, this is true.
I really do.
This is true.
But I think it sounds good,
Okay. And so the people responsible for this would be, again, Bridget with the enrollments, because she sits at the top of all of our teams. So she has all of our teams in her back office. So we talked about that, and she said she would do that. So she would handle the enrollments. We would actually recognize our team for the nutrigenomics and the Activate Life group separately than them because, you know, they have kind of their a separate group and we have our group. So I would just pull those quick reports from that, which would literally take 2 seconds. And Dash for Cash is a little bit harder. And so we may divide and conquer, like maybe like 1 month after somebody teaches somebody, you know, maybe the first month I am responsible for recording the points when people enter them. And then, but it's really not that hard because it goes in a spreadsheet. And then the next month, you know, Amber is, and the next month Jamie is, you know what I mean? We just divide and conquer that out and just know that everybody takes a month and you only have to do it one time, the whole month.
Share your work. I don't have to read it. I can track it. I can't create it. So,
yeah, and I can create it because once now that we have one created, we just duplicate it. That's not a big deal. It's basically just tallying the points at the end, adding them up. So.
And you know, the thing I think about with this is, this is all back on the distributor. You know, it's their efforts. They're doing them, but they have to record their efforts. So, and I get it. You know, some people are super busy, and so they might be doing some of those efforts, but they're not going to record it. And I that's the only thing I think is going to be hard about this is that there's going to be people that aren't going to record it because they just don't have the time or they just don't want to be cumbered by it. You know, I don't know. I just know, just be aware that that's probably going to happen. And I don't know if we have a solution for that, but I wouldn't offer to do it for them. You know, don't send me your numbers and, you know, so just make people accountable for their own actions. You know, it's not hard. It's entering that number every single night. But so yeah, just a thought.
But I think that also gets people into the behavior that we want them to get in about tracking their contacts. You know what I mean? Because we talk all the time about tracking our contacts and following up. So why couldn't they for 7 days go in and track their contacts? Hopefully it gets them in a consistent pattern that they would keep doing. And I don't know, what do you guys think? The people who did Dash for Cash and entered their numbers every night, do you have any, I mean, almost all of you did. Do you have any suggestions on how to make that easier? Was it hard? What do you think?
I felt like it was kind of a pain, but you know what? You're right that it does help develop those behaviors because, you know, when you have to focus on that for those, when we did those accountability groups, I thought that definitely was helpful in building behaviors. So, you know, I think they should do it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it is kind of hectic and kind of a pain, but at the end, you have to own your business, and if you want to make it work, you've got to put in the work.
Lindsay, you're muted. I see your mouth moving.
Okay, sorry. I was going to say, I actually was doing the best at tracking my business during that just because I had to be accountable and track everything. And then, I don't know, after the Dash for Cash, I haven't been tracking as well. So I feel like it's good behavior to encourage.
Yeah, it almost made you be more accountable.
Yeah, definitely.
You shared that with me already, so I appreciate that.
And that's what we want. I mean, that's what we want to build.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question. This might be a silly one, but as far as the Dash for Cash goes, we're talking about $25, which isn't, you know, a large amount of money, which I like actually with the whole duplicatable part. But I guess, Mr. Obvious, where's it all coming from?
I know. Here's the deal. Yeah. So we do have a little fund, but it is going to be depleted. You know what I mean? So what we do right now is, you know, when we do the virtual and the live trainings, we charge a bit of money. And when it goes over, you know, the amount that we have to pay for the room, it just goes into a fund. And then we use that fund for these kind of things for our team. So But like, we're going to have to rent a room in Kansas City, you know, for our team party, and that's quite expensive. And so then it's like we use the fund, and then the three of us usually just divide and conquer the extra, you know what I mean? The Norries, the Garners, and the Mucklows. And we're happy to do, I mean, I'm happy to do that. And I think I can speak for them that we're happy to help cover those kind of costs. And so unless it becomes a problem, then I think we have to decide, where does the money come from? You know what I mean? Like, but right now, I don't think we have to worry about it too much, because as long as we get people to commit and engage in our team trainings, we're not going to have that problem. I'll be honest with you. And we don't charge a lot for our team trainings, but even $10 for the Zoom, you know, virtual Zoom, and we get 60 people. Do you know what I mean? So that's what we do. And we just use that extra for these extra things.
I love Regina's questions because you can tell she's a manager of people. They're so spot on with the manager. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's
like, okay, I love the idea, but who's responsible for this task?
I absolutely love that. Appreciate that a lot, actually.
Well, it was kind of just the obvious thing. Truly, everybody was thinking it.
So
I thought the same thing.
It may come down to, like, we do, you know what I mean? We come up with different things that we're like, okay, we have to come up with a better idea, you know what I mean? But I think right now we're okay with that, right, guys? Okay.
Yeah, Mom. Dad,
So, okay. Everybody likes the accountability ideas. Last but not least, there's a couple ideas about how to divide and conquer and use our leadership group that we're forming here as a tool for all of us, which we have an idea, and I know a few of you, we've already discussed this actually in a small group, to do a getting started training. We know that these units that we have is really helpful. And it is working when the people who are using the units and following the TEL roadmap, those are the people right now creating urgency in their business, to be honest with you. I'm going to speak to Tara Miller for an example. Guys, when people say that they don't, that, you know, we have to do live meetings, or we have to do this, or we have to do this, Tara's a perfect example of, she's like, Shauna, I haven't been to a live meeting or done a live meeting personally for a couple months even. But like yesterday, between yesterday and today, Tara, tell me, have you shared 4 carts? And you've enrolled 1 or 2 distributors? I mean, and she's just following the roadmap, you know what I mean? Sharing Biohack and Activate, getting them to a recorded or overview or a Zoom overview, and then giving them a 3-way chatter recommendation. I mean, that's literally what she's doing. So we know when people follow the TEL roadmap, it works. But I'm not sure that people know that the TEL roadmap exists and the units exist. I'm not sure that they go through them. I'm not sure what we are lacking. I think everybody would agree across the board, raise your hand, that when you are enrolling a new distributor, they're not starting fast right now. Does everybody agree with that? Okay. We talked about this last night, and we think that one of the reasons that they're not is because we're just saying we want them to be self-motivated so badly, right? And we're just saying, there's units here, go watch them. And now some people might go watch them and go, you know, like start reaching out to people. But truly, probably what we need to do is take them by the hand and show them, here's where you find the units, here's the value in the units, asking them, when are you going to do the units, and tasking them with things and really helping them through the process. So an idea that we have is maybe every Sunday after the team hustle call, we wait like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, a little short break, and then say, anybody who wants to like walk through the units and do a little getting started training, stay on the line. And if nobody stays on the line, we leave. And if people stay on the line, we do like a little, it's literally like a 20-minute share your screen, show people the units, and then open it up to questions so that they have a safe place and leaders to guide them. And that this would be, so one, do you like that idea? Secondly, do you, would you be willing to be in a rotation of that getting started training? So you would be like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yes and yes from Jamie, okay?
Anybody
I
not?
would.
Who said I would?
I would, but
Mish,
I
okay?
would definitely need some help, like learning how to screen share and all of that.
Sure. And I think that we would do, once we have the people who want to do that, we would do like a little Zoom that says, here's how we do it. You know what I mean? And show everybody how to do that.
I would be willing to help do that too, if with some training, because I don't know how to screen save or share either.
I agree. Need help.
Okay, love it.
Me too, Shauna.
Okay.
Me too. I don't know how to do screen sharing either.
Love it.
We're all coachable. We can all do this.
I know.
And
yes,
all
we
learn,
can.
right?
And guys, I
We're
already,
smart. People like us.
yeah,
Doggone it.
doggone it, people like us.
I know.
I think the really cool thing about this is going to be is if every, like, let's say that a new distributor gets started today, they could listen. Like, I think I'm going to do it Sunday, after Sunday nights will be the first one, and I'll take that first one, and everybody can stay on and watch how I do it if you want to. But I'm going to create like a little template that we all can kind of use. So it's a little bit standardized, but yet it comes from your voice. And so then next week, somebody else does it, and that same distributor might choose to stay on again just because they're going to hear it in a little different way from a little different voice. You know what I mean? And they might have different questions because they've been in the business a week now instead of, you know what I mean? And then they might stay on again. And I think that that's a great thing. The more we can get them engaged and asking questions and listening to different people, the better off they're going to be, I believe.
I have a question, Shauna. So are you saying that we would be able to cover everything really with the units in 20 minutes so that it's just the same thing that we're presenting week after week after week? Okay. Because I would, for whatever reason, I was thinking that we'd all have different topics. And then I thought that might be kind of confusing because, your distributors are coming in at different times.
So there is another team that is using our units that is doing something similar to this, and it's working very effectively. Let's just say that, working very effectively.
I think the whole point, I don't know if you're referencing Marilee, but it's so helpful to just literally show them. And it's just highlighting it. It's not really deeply explaining what is included in the units, but it's visually showing them in the page where the unit tab is even found, because people get lost in that move. And then they go back. Finding where that's at, covering, hey, unit 1, welcome to the team. Here's where we're going to, set your pace, make your list. The TEL roadmap, just kind of cover what that is as a highlight and a bullet point. So it's just, they know where to find it. They know what the training is going to look like. And then that we're going to make sure that whoever their enroller is knows what stage they're in so we can touch base with them. Because I agree, like, you can point people to it, but you can't make them do it. And I think if they have a little bit of accountability saying, I've got time tomorrow, I'm going to sit down and look at these units, then tomorrow you better touch base and say, what did you get through? Did you make your list? Did you set your pace? Where are we at?
Yeah. Jamie and I were talking about this the other day. We also think that one of the reasons that people maybe aren't actively going through all the units or even going to the units when they get started is because they think because they just open them and they see all these videos, or maybe they don't even open them, but they think training and think when you go to a job training, it's like 1 week, 2 weeks, or 8 hours. Like Jamie was just telling me, she has to sit down and watch 7 hours of video just to get caught up or whatever. She's like, and that's what people think, because when they hear training, that's what they're used to. Mm-hmm. And they're not realizing that they can get through our training in 90 minutes and be ready to rock. So I think that we just need to present that to them in that way.
So I have a couple suggestions. Obviously, Shauna, you're going to do the one on Sunday. I would think that some of our more seasoned people that are good with the technical piece,
Yes.
the screen sharing, do them for a few weeks in a row. But in between times, would there be an opportunity that maybe we could get together at somebody's house? We could all bring our laptops. We could sit around the table, whatever, and we could just practice. We could
Of
just
course.
kind of play, bring it up. So then when
Love
it is
it.
my turn, when it's Chris's
I like
turn,
that idea.
you know, let's do something like that, because we could make it a lot of fun too. And then we
Goal
would be,
and planning.
yeah. But then we could be more effective and help you
Yeah.
guys out too. And our confidence would be built too.
What if,
Absolutely.
go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What if too, maybe we started recognizing people once they finished the units? Or is that too much?
That's a great idea, actually. That's a really great idea. We would have to just, us as a leadership team would have to just be responsible of, because there's no way, unfortunately, to know if someone actually finished them. You know what I mean? We would just have to say like, hey, so-and-so finished the units. They're ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean? And basically we'd recognize them for that.
If you push done, does it notify you? Oh, it doesn't?
It just shows them on their page that they, like,
Oh.
that's where they're at. And, you know, almost like a checklist, but it doesn't tell us as admins that anybody really did it. Now, I did have one day, I don't even remember who it was. One day I saw a notification that said, so-and-so completed unit 3, maybe. And it was like, what does that mean? And so I don't know if because that person literally clicked done on every single video, I got a notification. That's the only one person that's ever clicked done on all the videos. I don't know.
I think that was me, Shauna, because remember the day that I was like going through the units, you messaged me and you were like, hey, I seen that you've completed unit whatever. And I was like, so I thought maybe you knew or you could tell.
No. And sometimes I just see that people are in the units because they're liking or loving the videos, and I get a notification every time you guys do that. And so I might have saw like Lindsay's watching a bunch of videos again, you know what I mean? Because you must have liked or whatever. But there has been one person that I got that notification, but I don't know that it happens every time. I mean, like there's no consistency unless people don't click done, or that's really sad that we haven't had anybody actually complete a full, you know what I mean? Like all units. I don't know. Unfortunately.
Well, I sat down and went through them, I think like the beginning of March, because I realized I had never gone through them. And I'm like, okay, I'm asking new team members to do this, yet I haven't even done it. So I probably should do it. So I did that. And honestly, I feel like it kind of kicked me in the butt for a little while. Maybe I should do that again.
Well, I'm not kidding you. I just went back and listened to like Tara Wilson's Basics of Inviting yesterday, and I was like, dang, why don't I do this every week? Like it's a video and it's so good. Yeah. I love all of these ideas. Okay, so here's who I have down for this. Jamie, Misha, Chris, Sherry, Regina, Tara. Am I missing anyone that said me?
I said I would help.
Great, Linz.
I probably was muted. Talking to the screen.
I can help too, Shauna.
Love it. Here's what I want to tell you guys. This is what happened to me when Cassie started making me do all this stuff. Like Cassie was like, you're going to do a Zoom and you're going to do getting started trainings and you're going to be contributor on the Facebook group and you're going to, like, she really pushed me to do all of that stuff. It made me grow and my confidence, because I remember being at the point that I was like, I don't know why someone would really listen to me. I don't know that I'm worthy to teach them anything because I don't even know what I'm doing. I had all these thoughts, and I told her this all the time, and she said, shut up and do it because I believe in you and I know you have something of value to give them. But what started happening is I started recognizing my value. And there's something in that I think that with you guys being bigger contributors on the whole team, because I mean, this was in Cassie's Facebook group, so tons of people outside of my group, you know what I mean? And so, but what started happening is they started cheering me on And that pushed me more and more and more and more. And I think that that's what's going to happen. And I'm really excited about this contributing part. So the second thing that we're going to ask for contribution of and see if you guys like this idea. Obviously, live Zooms matter. We have thought recently, obviously you guys know that John stopped doing like his Tuesday night, his regular, Zoom. And that was partially because he was like, we had so little attendance. It was almost like, oh, don't worry if you can't make it this Tuesday, he does one again next Tuesday. It like took the urgency out of inviting. And so our thought is, so there's this Thursday night Zoom that happens. Elites are rotating it and doing this Thursday night Zoom. Dr. Melody Rodarte is doing tomorrow night. And our teams can tap into these. So we're kind of thinking that's a rotating voice every Thursday night. And then what if we and our team decide to do 1 or 2 Zooms per week also? So we would have 2 to 3 things every week to be inviting to. And it would be a different voice all the time. You know what I mean? It's not going to always be like, oh, John, you can catch him next time. It would be like when John's up, we're like, get all the males, all the pharma reps, all the people that like to talk business, you know what I mean? Hardcore. On with John, because he's only going to be on here and he may not be on again for 2 months. You know what I mean? Like it would create some urgency. Or, oh my gosh, Jamie Williams is up tonight. Everyone that needs to hear, you know what I mean? Like that would just be compelled by Jamie. We need to have them on. You know what I mean? Or Bridget, RN speaking tonight. This is incredible. You got to hear a story. She retired at the age of 35. Like we're promoting to the people, which I think creates a little bit of urgency. What do you guys think about this?
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Great
and
idea.
we talked about last night, we talked about maybe tag teaming on that. Like if somebody's feeling comfortable with the product part, like, cause if somebody wanted me to do business, like I can't do that. I couldn't get on and do what John, nobody can do it. No, I'm not going to say nobody can do what John does. Don't tell him I said that. He's probably listening. But like tag teaming, if you didn't want to do like the whole opportunity meeting, maybe if somebody feels confident with the business part and then somebody else could do the product, like tag team together, maybe if you didn't want to do the whole thing. So
yeah, or if you're comfortable saying like, hey, I've never really done it before, but I'm comfortable doing the products, not quite comfortable in the business yet, then you say, hey, Shauna, would you help me on the business? Hey, John, would you help me do the business part? Hey, Jeremy, hey, Bridge, you know what I mean? Like whoever, hey, Regina, hey, Jamie, whoever you think, just pick the person and work it out. What do you guys think?
I think that's a good idea.
There's strength in numbers.
There is.
And you don't have to be perfect too. That's the thing that you got to start somewhere, because you just get better every time you do it. And so nobody's going to be judging what you're saying. If you want feedback, we'll give it, but don't not do it just because you've never done it before. You got to start sometime and you'll get better every time. So that doesn't mean live training. We're still doing live meetings. The Tuesday ones happen, we're still doing that. I don't want to get overburdened with every night having one, because we don't want that either. But there'll still be a place for the live live meetings as well. So, and Jeremy and John are going to be doing some of that coming up here. So,
and we know that we're never going to take live meetings out of the mix. Like we're a team who loves to be together, but we also realize that we have to be available. We have to be using technology if we want to grow a global team and not just keep our teams local, right? Like, because we physically can't drive to Pennsylvania tonight to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like we have to utilize Zooms and technology. I just think we have to get really good at us coaching people how to use those. Meaning you get someone on, you know what I mean? Like you're inviting to it, but then you're following up immediately. It's not just like, oh, did they get on the Zoom? I don't know. Did they listen? You know what I mean? Like it's either you getting on with them or following up right after.
I think we have to kind of be cognizant of the fact, though, if we're going to tap into the Thursday night with the elites, which I love that idea. I think that would really kind of be refreshing just to hear some different folks. I still think we don't want to have so many Zooms. I mean, we're talking about 2 other Zooms on top of that. I think that might be too much, because when you think of the Zooms that we've currently had that we could count on, like Shauna, you did one weekly, John did one weekly. You guys are like the best of the best, and you still had kind of poor attendance. I still think we need to be real careful not to oversaturate it, because if it starts becoming us less polished people doing them, I think the numbers could really plummet even more. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I think you get more attendance because people haven't heard you.
You think so? Yeah, I mean, I might be.
I hate to say that, but I think people get complacent. And I think the other thing that happens, I'll be quite honest with you, the other thing that happens, I'm going to use John as an example. I mean, John's really good at presenting. That's like one of the best things that guy does. Are you kidding me? Like, he's very good at presenting. It's hard to duplicate that. It scares people. So then they just wait for John to present. Mm-hmm. So the other thing that's going to happen is, by having everybody's voice and everybody not being as perfect and not being as polished, I think that empowers our new people to be like, well, I can talk about that. I can do that. You know what I mean? I think that it brings a whole different. So, Regina, I agree. By not having too many per week, that's why in my mind, I'm thinking 2 or 3. Not always 3, not always 2. You know what I mean? Shaking it up. So maybe like that first week of the month, we have more, because people are hopefully going to be doing even more behaviors, like because of the Dash for Cash, like getting people on overviews. So maybe we do 3 the first week of every month. So just 2 from us and 1 of the elites, and then every other time. But I don't think we keep it on a consistent night. That's the thing. So my thought is, what do you think of this? My thought is to like kind of task everybody, like look at a calendar and say, okay, here's all the hands that we have raised that are willing to do this. Hey, Regina, you get the second week of July. Lindsay, you get the 3rd week of July. And then you pick the day and the time and just tell us to post on the schedule. Do you know what I mean? So then they'd be like, Regina, if you're like, I'm going to do a Sunday afternoon. Cool. You know what I mean? And the next week, Lindsay might go, oh, it's going to be Monday night for me. You know what I mean? And just because it needs to fit in your schedule as well. But
so I have a question.
Yeah.
So would that put each of us do it, like if each of us did like 1 a month, is that what, like, or how many would we?
1 a month. I don't even think it would be 1 a month, honestly, if there's enough people that want to do them.
Okay.
I mean, it might be 1 every 12 weeks, for goodness sakes. You know what I mean? Like a public one, hopefully what happens is it empowers you, and then you say, well, I'm going to have one specifically for this team group or this team, you know what I mean? And you start doing separate ones outside, you know what I mean? Just for little pockets of people. But like for the team, it would be, I mean, it depends on how many people want to do them, right? At the rotation.
Well, and then I think too, it may cut down on, I was talking with another distributor the other day that one of their distributors kept asking, oh, well, will you reach out and talk to Shauna, or will you reach out and talk to Regina and see what they say? And then if we start doing these and we just say, okay, well, they're going to be doing a live Zoom this day, this time, it'll cut down on that repetitive a little bit, and then really kind of create, like you said, that urgency where it frees up your time and our time, but then also creates that urgency. Hey, they're only going to be on every 5-6 weeks, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that also is it's going to be great, because think about it. Okay, so if you guys are committing to helping with the getting started, and you're committing to helping with, an opportunity Zoom, and the next thing I'm going to ask is you start contributing to the Facebook groups a little bit more. But think about that. If we're all doing it, we're saying like, you spend 1 hour doing this every 12 weeks, 1 hour doing this every 8 weeks, and 1 hour doing this every, like if we're all doing it and we all trust each other to bring the value, that's how network marketing is supposed to work. A lot of people doing a little. Do you know what I mean? instead of you feeling like you're doing 20 hours of work. That's what I think is the beauty of this idea.
I would love to be able to have a live Grand Island meeting like once every month or every 6 weeks or something as well.
So set it up. You take the lead and you say, here's our place, here's our time. Who wants to help me present?
I just can't find a good place that doesn't charge. That's the
Oh,
problem.
look at Tara. Tara's like, yep, me. Let's do it, Linz.
You want to,
There you
Tara?
go.
Yes.
Check your bank.
Absolutely.
A lot of banks will require a deposit, but if the room is clean, they'll give you your deposit back.
Bridget, what was that bank we used to have in the basement?
That was a lawyer's office, actually.
Oh.
They were in the business. They're in the business. But you could ask them.
You know what? We used to have,
Library.
yeah, I was just going to say, we used to have Nebraska Children's Home meetings in Grand Island all the time. And there was a nice little conference room at the library.
There is.
And they didn't
really?
charge us a dime. And I don't know if it was because it was the Nebraska Children's Home, but we met there monthly before big events.
They do
with
make
our planning committee.
an application. They do make you fill out an application. I think they do ask if you're a for-profit or whatever. And
Okay.
you say that it's they will. You're not selling anything there. You're just doing training. I guess is what they'll ask you, but it's not against any laws or anything for them. But
Yeah, it'd be worth checking out.
I agree.
And I will say, if you're only going to do it monthly, the chocolate bar isn't too expensive for that smaller room. I mean, it might be $50, but if you're only going to do it once a month and you're dividing it amongst, here's the deal, guys, as leaders, we might have to say, every distributor is going to contribute $5 to come and all your guests are free or whatever. You know what I mean? People do that all the time to help cover rooms in big cities because every big city costs. They can't find a free space.
What?
So, and that's why people do that is because, we open it up to everybody, but then us as distributors throw in your $5, help cover the cost of the room. And
yeah.
So, there's lots of ideas, but I love that. See, look what's happening with collaboration already. That's awesome. Okay, so who's willing to throw their name in the hat for Opportunity Zooms? Jamie?
I'll probably have to move away from my house to make it happen. But I will go sit in my car and do it.
Sounds
You
like
guys
here.
been solo for
Sounds like
3
here.
days in this house, so the fact that I got on this call on time, I'm like,
Did the same thing. Like last night, I was in the bedroom, like in the bed. Bridget's
You
like,
were, she was laying in bed, yeah. She's like, it's the only quiet spot.
I'm like, I don't know where to go. There's 4 baseball boys here. There's neighbors.
yeah,
1-year-old, a 16-year-old. There's a lot of children here.
yeah.
Like a day.
Well, I want to. I totally want to start doing that because that's about max what I can do right now with Keno and trying to do a Zoom.
Love
I'm
it.
due for it. I know.
Love it. No,
Final
stop
product.
saying that. You're the only one putting the pressure on you.
Shauna, if
No, I
you'll
need to.
practice, if you'll do practice runs with me way before, I'm talking, we start practicing next week for 8 weeks from now. Oh dear God, I guess I'll do it.
I just wrote your name down. I love you.
I'm
Love
the
it.
same way.
But you
Makes
have
sense.
to practice with me.
Love
Yes.
it.
I need practice with you too.
Okay. I'm happy
I don't
to.
even know how to do a Zoom.
I'm happy to.
Is this
That's easy.
different? Is this different than what we raised our hand for a little bit ago?
Yep, so that was the training. That's doing getting started training. This would be actual presentation webinar, like a Zoom that guests would come to.
I think I've just figured this out, Shauna. You're making sure we're all really, really tired. We don't even know what we're volunteering for, and you're writing all of our names down.
Sign on the dotted line.
I just wrote your name down. You didn't even volunteer.
We
Yeah.
recorded.
You can write me down too.
I knew that. I'm putting you down no matter what, girl. Anyone
I would,
else?
I would do it too. Definitely not in July though.
Well, you're not even home in July.
I know, I'm not.
It's true.
Gone for
I'm
like
not
3
much
weeks.
either.
But starting August, I would definitely contribute.
Love it.
You
Okay,
can
the
put me
only
down too.
other person that I'm absolutely calling out is, yep, Tara, because you do presentations already.
And Sherry, did you say?
I'm not good at the business part though. You
Doesn't
can
matter.
tag team me.
Doesn't matter. Well, anybody will tag team. Who wants to step out? If it's going to push you way out of your comfort zone, but it's going to be awesome, guys. I promise you.
I think you have to remember that you're obviously on this call for a reason. You're passionate about, you already know the information. So see, what's interesting is now that you're going to be on a Facebook Live or whatever, now you're panicking. But you already know the information because you've already known so many people.
Sign up all these people. Yeah, exactly.
You're already passionate. You know the products. I mean, I'm clueless on the business. You don't want me to do that. But I just think, we kind of are not confident within our own ability, we've already shared the information with so many people and enrolled so many customers and distributors already. You know it. You just have to be more confident. John and I and Bridget were brainstorming a lot today. And Bridget and I started pulling up all these reports on looking at hyper enrollers from the start. I mean, we're in 5 years. That there's so many people. I mean, we were blown away by how many people were hyper enrollers. I mean, that clearly have been inactive for years, but it was like, holy buckets. There's so many people that we, it's a whole different piece of the puzzle though, to reach out to those people. But also John said, we have to remember sometimes to keep it simple. Sometimes people think nowadays we have to make it so complex, even though we know it's not. But sometimes John's like, Amber and Bridget, we didn't have all this stuff when we enrolled and we grew our business, so sometimes I think lots of times people think, because John kind of made the comment, which he can, because that's John, but he said, at first, if Jeremy and Bridget were to tell me when I first signed up, go to these units, listen to these units, you know what I mean? John's like, no way, I wouldn't have done it, because he didn't know. So he sometimes says, sometimes we need to just make sure to keep it simple and just explain from the beginning, it's going to take 15 minutes. Last night too, we were talking about how to recognize people, and we need that, and the Dash for Cash and hyper enrollers and all these things. But as a teacher, so I was not good at, but as a teacher, I said, it's kind of like the clip charts, which teacher, did that come up on my screen or is that just my screen? Look at me, I'm talking with my hands and I touched the computer screen and something came up. But I was saying to Bridget and Shauna last night on the call, and we were talking about this, I feel like we even lose people, like just getting them to like a post, like on the Facebook page. Like they're so far checked out, like even just, some people would say, oh, I'm not going to be in the top 10, or I'm not going to be in the top 5, so what's the point? Like some people even need just, hey, can you like the page 5 times this week? Like that would be awesome if you could just like the page 5 times. From that, clear up to people that are going to be recognized for, enrolling 10 people in the next month or whatever it is. But it seems like we have such a gamut, and I compared it to students. Like if you use the behavior clip chart, like, oh, if you do good things, you clip up. And if you, have to redirect and have to ask you to do it again, you clip down. If you look at the research on those types of rewarding systems, they're worthless because it's always the same kids and the same kids. So sometimes you have to go a different route with some of them, which I feel like we have to do with all these people. They're capable, but they're just so checked out. So anyways, yeah, sometimes keeping it simple and taking it that route. So I feel like we have somebody like, I didn't even know we had a Facebook page. Like, seriously? Because I bet if you tell people to look at their, amount of minutes, whatever is that thing you can look on your phone about how many hours you spend on your phone, and it breaks it down like social media. And you're like, wow, 6 hours and 45 minutes we've spent on social media today. And some people just, you're on there, just, engage a little bit more. But I just think it's baby steps to big steps. I don't know.
I agree. I think it's part of, we talked about that last night, and that's how we ended up with all the diversity in the recognition system when Amber brought that up, was like, let's recognize behaviors and let's recognize enrollments. We can't just one or the other either, because some people, we might recognize them in the behavior category and all of a sudden 6 months, 7 months down the road, they start enrolling, you know what I mean? So, but they would be left off the leaderboards and maybe quit before then if they weren't getting recognized for their behavior. So I think that that's massive. Amber also, guys, why I have you here, brought up a really good point last night. And I brought up Chris Cedarstein and really praised her for this because she does a really great job. So she said, remember how when a lot of us started, it was sending out massive text messages about everything constantly, right? Like, there's a meeting, there's this, there's this, there's this, and now we have this Facebook hub group. I'm not sure everybody's tapping in like they should and seeing it all. So I know it sounds a little crazy, but us as leaders have to remember to remind our team to go to the page to see the stuff. And that's what Chris Cedarstein does really, really well. So something that she does is, I mean, Chris, I can have you speak to this, but I'm talking about your messenger group that you have with all of your distributors. And she gets tons of interaction. She has a messenger group with she literally has all of her distributors in there, and she has me. And I don't contribute a lot in that group. I just cheer her on and make, like, when she does something and says something super profound, I'm like, Chris, that's amazing. Like, great job, Chris. And it builds her up as a leader in their eyes, you know what I mean, kind of thing. But she, like, Sunday night call, she always copies and puts it in that group and says, hey guys, just in case you didn't see it on the page, don't forget to get on this call tonight, and don't forget to check the page out regularly for these types of reminders. She does, and maybe all you guys do that and I just see hers constantly, but she does a great job at that. And I think that's why she gets attendance at a lot of things.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Great job, Chris.
But it's just another idea as well for you guys, you know what I mean? And Amber was saying to me last night, like, I don't even know that the people go to the Facebook page to see when the weekly meetings are.
Right.
Well, yeah, I was saying, because I remember years ago, you know, John used to have, like, you could only put so many people in a text message, you know, and send it out about the call. I mean, you know, we used to write the whole presentation down on a piece of paper, if you remember. I mean, it was like, you're presenting on one piece of paper, you're sending out text messages. I'm not so sure, and that's when she was talking about Messenger, which we probably will add that to our regimen of trying to get people to engage. Because it's just behavior. People get so checked out, and I don't know if they go there. I don't know, you know, it's interesting, like if you post a video on Facebook, you know, and however that works, you can see how many people watch the video, you know, like 1,000 people could watch your video, but then like 12 people like it, you know, so I just don't know how many people actually look at the Facebook page to say, oh yeah, there's a meeting, because they don't like it to say that they, you know, recognize that they saw it, and maybe they do and they just choose not to engage, or maybe they don't, I'm not sure. Or maybe we ask, I even said, well, what if we just started asking people, hey, if you come across the page every day or every other day or once a week, can you just hit like or make a comment or something, just to build a behavior that might be start to become consistent.
Yeah, so that was the last idea we had, and it starts with us. Every time you see something on that Facebook page, we're tagging our teammates, we're liking it, loving it, we're making a comment on it, on the team page, and even the Nutrigenomics page, because we have to remember that the people that you've added to that group, even our team page, the people you added to the group, when you comment, it starts pushing it to their newsfeed. Even with they're checked out, you know what I mean? It'll say Chris commented on, you know what I mean? And it'll start pushing it in their newsfeed. So literally, we went through our Facebook pages yesterday, and there are some things that are, I mean, Amber brought up the Aaron Brockovich thing. She's like, I mean, for goodness sakes, Aaron Brockovich is speaking at our convention, and it should be a really big deal. And I have 3 people who like that Aaron Brockovich was going to be speaking. You know what I mean? She's like, that drives me crazy. Like, everybody should be so excited about this, like commenting and loving and
And
sharing.
maybe they are. I have no idea. You know, I don't know. So then we talked about, hey, would you ask people like, hey, challenge of can you add 3 people, you know, to the page, to the customer page, or I don't know, you know, just to keep people engaged, so you know they're engaged. Or can you please go to the post and like it, even if I don't know.
So but I think that starts with us, like especially even on our team group. Make sure that we're liking it. If you see something in nutrigenomics and you don't want to comment, or I mean, you can make a comment on that, guys, and just say like amazing story, even if you don't have somebody to tag right now, or love it, or whatever, because the people in that group, the more engagement they see in the group, the more engaged they'll become. It's just nature of us, right?
Yeah.
So I think that starts with all of us. Like, don't scroll past something and not like it or love it if it has to do with nutrigenomics or Activate Life group. And then I think that we can start, then it'll just be the duplication thing, that our teammates will just start doing the same thing. And we all know that a more engaged team is a more successful team. Okay. So we're going to have another, anything else? Any other ideas, comments, all of this to do with urgency, recognition, momentum, anything that's come to your brain as we've been talking that we need to throw out and discuss before we end? I'm giving you a few minutes to think.
Does anybody want to be my nanny or maid?
In September, when we do our team training, could we do a little bit on the take, tell, and attend, like just a brief little, so new people who are coming in, hopefully, well, I guess never mind, because if we're doing that at the end of every team call, or I mean weekly, yeah, never mind. I'm too tired to think right now, I think.
So I think that's also going to be really awesome that we start putting this in our minds. So we're going to do our first one of those on Sunday. Okay. So anyone who's enrolled in the last month or 2 months, I would definitely promote Sunday night's Team Hustle call. And then, so it might be a total of an hour if they stayed on for both, right? It's not going to be too long, 8:30 to 9:30 if they stayed on for both. And maybe less than an hour, but that would be the goal. Hour max between the two. Okay. I think that we have to just do this and do it consistently and own it and promote it. And it starts with us driving it through our teams. You know what I mean? Like us believing it, us saying, I'm going for it, I'm doing it. This is our system. This is what we do. And everybody should follow suit as long as we promote it properly.
When
Oh, go ahead.
No, yep, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, does anybody do anything specifically to invite your team to the call? We just don't have a ton of success. Is it more the messenger?
That's what I do. Is
You
I have
ask
a messenger
specifically like,
list.
hey, can you get on the call, or are you going to be on the call? Or sometimes, if you tell people it really be important to me if you hop on the call. I just didn't know if anybody is having more success than not with
I usually try to screenshot from the Facebook page and then try to send it to my distributors personally. But that can be a lot when you have, obviously, like you guys have a lot of distributors. So
Right. Well, even just a lot of our active, every week we think we'll have more, or even people that are engaged that just still haven't hopped on, or, it's just a hard call, but I don't know if anybody had pretty good success or percentage of what they were doing.
I think that we have to, all of us have to make sure that we're getting on live every chance that we possibly get and not miss them if we can, you know what I mean? And I know they're recorded, and I get that. And I know a lot of people watch the recordings. I do see that. We can see how many views they get after. We do get a lot of people. but it's again seeing faces, feeling the engagement, getting the social proof that this is my team, this is my tribe, this is what we do. That comes from being on live. It doesn't come from being on recorded. I mean, because you don't get the feeling of everybody being there. You don't see the faces, you don't see the excitement, you don't see the chat and hear people talking, and you know what I mean, all of that.
Yeah.
The chat on the side of the Zoom on Team Hustle Night is one of my favorite things to watch. The encouragement of the team, the wins, you know what I mean, like all of that, and you don't see that from the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, just an idea. Like, even if we took like 5 minutes, or 3 to 5 minutes every call, and just say, does anybody have like a great win to share?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe see if more people would get out of their comfort zone and share, oh, hey, I enrolled a customer, or, I got out of my comfort zone and did this, so they could maybe recognize themselves a little bit.
Sure.
I've thought about that recently, and my thought is I love it. It can take a massive amount of time to do that, but we could simply start the call. The person doing the announcements can say, we want to hear your wins for the week. One win. Everybody on the call throw one win in the chat. And then the person that ends the call could kind of read through those wins and recognize people on one engaging and telling their wins and just saying, great job. Do you know what I mean? That wouldn't take very long, but I think asking people to share their wins, I mean,
That could get,
that could take, I mean, we'd be on the call for 2 hours probably. But
Yeah, Cassie does that. I mean, that's what Cassie does on our Monday night calls. I mean, the first 30 minutes is spent on wins and then challenges too.
Which I think is so valuable. I really do, but it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's a place that we can do that too. Like.
And even challenges too for people to put in the comments,
Yep.
Yeah.
We could say that. That could just be part of our announcement thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But just maybe a reminder, whoever's starting the call, just to say, hey, your wins and frustrations or questions or whatever.
The challenges would actually be a great place to lead our next training. If a lot of people are having the same challenges, we can do our training based off of that. So that would be a great place to have people comments.
Great idea.
Because coming up with things to talk about each week so that it's beneficial to everybody that's on, we're always looking for ideas too.
Like it. Okay, so I think this is an awesome place to start. I want to take 1 second and thank Bridget and Amber for all the brainstorming behind the scenes lately, because we want all of us, every single one of us just want the same thing. I hope everybody knows that. Every single one of you, I know each of you personally, you may not all know each other super well, but every single one of you wants to change lives. You have a burning desire to change your story for whatever reason, and you believe in this company and this products and this team. And I love every single one of you. Like, seriously, you are my tribe, and I couldn't be happier about all of that, and I can't wait. So we started this hashtag the other day because our team is so primarily women. We started the hashtag the other day, no lady left behind.
I love that.
Like, literally, pound, no lady left behind. Sorry. But that's the way I feel about it. Like, guys, let's rise up and let's rise up together, because with all of us locking ours, we're unstoppable. I absolutely believe it. We are absolutely unstoppable. So I think that what we have planned is going to be massively effective for our entire teams, but it's going to have to start with our voices, promoting all of it, engaging in all of it, and running like our freaking hair is on fire. Because the time's now. Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
My
Tristan. Okay, I love it. Any last things? I'm gonna start a little for this group of the people who came. You guys are gonna be my leadership team. Okay, you guys are the leadership team. So I'm gonna start a messenger thread that's going to be called No Lady Left Behind right now. And it's going to include all these lovely faces that were on this call tonight. And we will just use that to stay abreast of all of this, right? As we're putting it together, I'm going to keep everybody up to date on all the decisions after the other call that's going to happen. If there's any, other ideas and final decisions, and we're just going to make this happen. We'll come up with a calendar for the opportunity Zooms and just give, like I said, give everybody a week, and it's your choice of what day, who's going to present with you, whatever. You know what I mean? It's you own it and you do it, and you just let us know so we can promote it to the team. Does that sound good? I'm so excited about all of this. You guys don't understand. Like, I feel like everybody's moving into phase 2. We all hit phase 1 in our business, and we're all going to rock it up through phase 2 of our business. Like, love it.
Okay, random. I don't know if I just didn't hear it, but did we decide on when we're going to start, like, the Hustle and Heart or the Hyper Enrollers or whatever?
We're going to launch all of it on this Team Hustle call. We're going to announce all of it. So that's what we're going to need. Yep. We're going to need a name. And the reason is because, so I will give a little leak of information. There's a new incentive program that is going through the company that is going to also launch July 1. And we all need to run. Okay. It's going to be really good. They're going to announce it very soon. It's going to have to do with our influencer program. I can't tell you what the reward is yet. I promised that I wouldn't, but it has to do with our influencer program. They're going to reward that differently. An influencer, the top influencers in the company are going to get something really cool that we're all going to want. And so we need to start running, and having this right now be a good jumping board for that, I think will be perfectly placed.
Game on.
Okay? Game on. That's exactly right. Game on. I love it. And here's the deal. Which one of us is going to get on that is going to hit the new standard first, right? Like, I'm sorry, guys, but this is the competition that we all love so much. Flexing. Jamie's like this, like, let's go. Look at her. Yeah, see? Stretching. I love it. Okay, guys, I thank you all so much for taking this time. I appreciate it. So I'm going to start that messenger thread, and then we'll decide. I mean, we don't have to decide this right now. And I think after Kansas City, let's decide if this group meets monthly like this for 1 hour a month, or once a week for 20 minutes, or you know what I mean, whatever. But I think that this collaboration is going to be key to our success.
Well, thank you so much to you 3 ladies for always leading the pack and doing all the behind the scenes stuff that I know goes unnoticed by many. We love you, ladies.
Oh, couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy to do it. I freaking love this team. I love it.
I taught John everything he knows. So.
We know that. We do know that.
We're so happy. Oh, by the way, congratulations. Does everybody know that Amber retired from teaching?
Woohoo!
Yeah, does everybody know that? I don't know if everybody knew that.
I know. I decided I had to manage John and his time at home. So we're going to have to keep him, we can get a lot more things done at home if I'm home too. So that'll be, he's super thrilled. Yeah.
And I'm super excited because Amber is going to be able to take part in more of this stuff with us, because she's a massive voice and brings so much thought in a different voice to all of us.
The voice that doesn't know anything.
No, it's not true at all. Not true at all. Not true. Yeah. So I did. So congratulations. And did everybody know that Chris, I think she just jumped off, but Chris, she is working because she's covering, but she stepped down as the director of nursing and is only working 2 days a week now. So I love the things that are happening on it. And Tara Miller just started taking off an additional day per week. So yeah, she's off 2 days a week now. Guys, I just love what's happening because that's creating such awesomeness for your choices and families. That's why we do this. I love it. Let's make it happen for everybody. No lady found, no lady left behind.
Right?
All right. I love you all. Thank you so, so much. Go to sleep.